Mata is there you can see behind T1 actually swapping over from Genji to join this squad that he used to play for back in 2019.
Coach Kim has had his time as well.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of trade arounds throughout the LCK here. But already we're seeing the Varus banned away. That one, I think Gumushi would like to be playing, but we can see that the emphasis in this draft is not going to be about bottom lane for a first pick. It's going to be maybe a Gwen, maybe a Rumble.
Yeah, that's
maybe a Jace.
Jace, I think, could be that final ban, depending on what T1 do here. The Rumble likely to be banned, you have to imagine, so they can get the Gwen ban out, but they will opt for the Jace instead.
And do we leave the Rumble up? That's the question. Doran has already played it this season, has played many games on it. I wouldn't say that it's necessarily his best champion, but he has been able to facilitate teamfights effectively on it.
I think when you look at the matchup of the players and you put the nameplates in front and center, I think Genji is one of the only teams you could trust to leave Gwen open and maybe get an advantage over it.
Oh god, there it is.
And so playing the Rumble into the Gwen could be what they're looking for here. If Doran does lock that in first, and it feels like a huge error to let Keen have it, you know, so they're just going to have to take it. I think Keen will be happy to play the Rumble into this.
Yep, I wrote it down immediately. I think it was the expected lock-in. The other expected lock-in should be the Rumble in response. The LPL has showed us that that does seem to be the most popular answer to the champion.
Shiu played Jace into it, but that's banned, of course. And so the question is, what do they get with the Rumble, really more than anything else? It looks like the Azir is going to be the angle for Chovy. And they'll actually grab Skarner over the Rumble here, knowing that with the top laner already locked in, they don't have to grab it right now. They'll get 2 prio picks instead.
We did used to see support Rumble. I just don't know whether carry is ready to cook quite that hard just yet. The Skarner certainly a very big one, though, for Genji. Does give them a very powerful team-fighting core in both the Pigeon and the Scorpion. But let's see where T1 decide to go here with this draft. They could take away a bottom lane, they could lock in a jungler, and the Xin Zhao has been very strong. Owner in particular, my god.
He's been the best. Yeah. Like, easily has had the best performances on this pick out of anyone in 2025. Faker could grab Talia here if he wants to play that matchup into the Azir. Been a matchup he's been very comfortable with, but he didn't have the greatest laning phases against DRX, if we're honest. Had fantastic plays later on in the game. The laning phase didn't matter as much. See if he wants to lock that one away.
Yeah, plenty of things that he can take as well, but as it ticks down, it's going to be the Ahri. A lot more gusto in the 2v2 matchup, and I think with the Azir and the Skarner presented, does make a lot of sense to try and go a little bit more early power, as there is that Rumble that we were talking about, obviously needing to be locked in here.
Yeah. In the past, you'd think about Ahri with some of her best pairing junglers, the Vi, the Viego. Xin Zhao is definitely up on towards the top of the list, but with the new Ahri build, she's just so tanky, so difficult to deal with. I think a top-tier pick that isn't as reliant on having one of those S-tier jungle pairs. And I think that with Owner's fantastic performances on the Xin Zhao, this does feel like a strong mid-jungle synergy. Ashe will be taken away here by Genji. Yeah, and the Ezreal is another one of those picks that's still out there, works incredibly well into what T1 has. So I feel like T1 should consider a ban of that.
I think it needs to be Ashe Jhin bans, and then you can pick away the Ezreal if it's left up, and otherwise you can head towards something else. They could even take like a Xayah if they want to, one of Gumayusi's better champions there. Taking him away from utility that he's so incredibly good at is a decent idea, but instead the Elise going to be banned away from carrier.
I feel like this has got to be an Ezreal ban. It's just so insanely strong with what Genji has. And you buy so much space, they'll ban Poppy instead.
Poppy is pretty strong. That has had some pretty good performances on it, but I agree with you. I think that the Ezreal is a powerful option.
Do you wonder what they're worried about with the Ezreal, with, you know, Varus gone, Kalista gone, the Ashe is gone, and they banned the Elise? It just feels like there's not too many tough lane matchups you're going to have left. But they'll opt for Misfortune instead, which is good into the Ezreal as well in lane if Guma wanted to pick that himself.
I do feel like it's a difficult MF game, though.
Yeah.
Doran and Owner can both just put down circles and say no if the damage does start to come in. Of course, with good timing and good positioning, you can work around that, but already there are a lot of difficult angles for the MF.
I don't think this is a great Kai'Sa angle. Guma has, you know, avoided playing Kai'Sa for reasons we all know. They will go for the Jhin you were talking about instead. This makes way more sense to me. I like this pick a lot more.
Yeah, and they've got so much power elsewhere, right? Like, I think that they can do this. Yeah, you're going to get shoved in a little bit, pushed around perhaps, but I imagine Carrier just going to get unlocked from the lane as early as possible. Gumyushi then sits down there and tries to absorb pressure, and they can start running the map, which is exactly what the rest of the champions really want to do early.
I mean, you also know Rel is the expected pick here with the misfortune to come through, and the Alistar's great into that. This actually does, I think, cause Genji to pivot a little bit away.
Otherwise, T1 are just going to run them over like a freight train. This composition can snowball so extraordinarily hard. Genji going to have to play some real good League of Legends here.
Do you agree?
Let's get into it. Game 1, T1 versus Genji. Oh man, fans out in force on both sides of Lowell Park here today. There are a lot of bums on seats, let's just say that. I don't know whether there's too many that are missing at this point in time.
I can't believe you would say that about fans of both of these teams.
I think everyone has bums, Wolf. That's just how it goes. As Canyon is going to get discovered here by Doran, running with scissors, very dangerous. And you can see, actually wounded Canyon there. So if this was the hallway of a primary school, someone was getting in trouble. Thankfully, it's League of Legends, so no one is. It's fine.
When you think about all of the champions of T1 and how the comp works together, one of the reasons we were, kind of shouting out for Ezreal is just so difficult to get on top of him compared to Misfortune, which is very immobile, very easy to get on top of. But what Misfortune offers at level 1 that an Ezreal does not is a lot more lane power. And when you have this lane, you have the Azir lane, and you have the Rumble lane, Genji are not going to be falling behind early. And I think one thing we've noticed about our top teams of the LCK is if they get a lead, they never let it go. And so lane prio is something I think we're seeing a lot more teams that are at the upper echelon of the LCK draft for, more than necessarily how AD carries work into an enemy dive pump and CC.
Yeah, and this has actually been T1's bread and butter throughout, their dominance. It's been win lane, win game. A lot of their drafting in previous seasons has been all about let's make sure that we have the best lane matchups as possible. And that's not necessarily what they have here, outside of a fair bit of power on the top side of the map. We're having a look into that now as Doran does get the shove forward. Chovy and Faker here. Faker able to get a fair bit of damage down onto the Emperor of Shurima.
Electrocute so powerful. And with the new Ahri build, she is going to be a force to be reckoned with when we get to the mid to late game as well. Chovy opting for lethal tempo, so looking for a lot more damage. Yeah. And some sustained damage when we come to later on team fights with his Leandries, Nashers. And no real punish on the level 1 Alistar. Guma Keria got level 2 first, played this lane really well, and continue to do so.
Deadly Flourish, and there's the Grand Entrance, unable to actually interrupt Keria on his way in, but Ruler is still standing his ground, able to offer a fair bit of damage back still. One trade there by T1, and with an Alistar lane, if you're still being able to come out on top in these early trades, you're going to be feeling good about it.
Absolutely. It's that lane prowess, you and I both are talking about, is going for more.
Well, another Pulverize comes in. Another Deadly Flourish is obviously going to land as Gumyushi going to set his attention towards the Misfortune. And as we can see here, T1 with full control now of this bottom side. And Carrier already feeling like he's unlocked. Double up going to be able to pick up that cannon, which was very satisfying, and I needed to mention it.
Yeah. Guma was reloading and missed 2, but still had a CS lead at the moment when that happened.
The Flash Charm gets the flash immediately out of Chovy. And I don't even think, so he walked over a ward. So Carrier did walk over a ward, making his way in, so Chovy was ready for that one. Canyon gonna have to drive over this wall to get out of the way of Owner. Thankfully for Canyon, his whole top side is empty.
Yeah, Keria hanging around.
Oh, Keen. Have to be a bit careful here. As the knockup does come down. He has Ghost, remember. Doesn't actually have the flash. As the flash forward, and Owner is able to pick up first blood. Keen just caught napping a bit in this early game.
2 aggressive plays early on here for T1. Keria spotted on the ward. Traded flashes in the mid lane. Chovy reacts quickly as he knows the Alistar is there, but Keen won't be so lucky, as he's way too far up in the lane. As you mentioned, no flash. And is actually opting to back here, gets seen by a ward. Owner comes over here to check. This is a very likely place where this Rumble is. And comes through and gets the punish here. Very easy follow-up.
Yeah. And I believe took the Ghost because he was expecting Ghost to be taken by Gwen. We've seen a lot of Ghosts on Gwen in the past. Of course, the Exhaust, another thing that has been pretty popular. As Ruler up here towards the top side now as they have elected to go for that trade.
Yeah, Flash Gwen, quite rare, in fact, these days.
Yeah. Just have a lot of mobility inherently on the champion, so being sticky has been important.
And we're swapping to the top lane, but no huge advantages either way. Keen, of course, with that death, did have to TP, so Doran has TP advantage in their matchup in the bottom lane now.
Yeah, might actually help them as far as getting towards some grubs or something like that, but otherwise not too much more to be gained here as Chovy trying to offer some damage back. And the top side 2v2 that we now have, protecting some grubs that are going to be up in 30 seconds time, is going okay here, as you can see, for Ruler, is very, very close to that of the money that Gumyushi's put together. And I think Duro feeling a little bit better now at how this matchup is going.
Ruler grabs a cull, just happy to farm this one out now. Not going to be playing to this duo, very likely. And so he's just looking to get that Bloodthirster as soon as possible. Get that first spike, which gives you so much safety. And it's, you know, Miss Fortune's main core item just because, you know, she needs a little bit of durability in order to actually get the most value out of her kit.
And also to be able to walk up to a mid-wave. Yes. If you do take some damage, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, exactly. You have a Bloodthirster, so you're fine.
Super useful item. One of the best for any AD carry in terms of what it means individually on that first item spike.
Well, it is going to be a back coming in for Duro. I think trying to anticipate when carry is going to be leaving as the grub's just going to be taken.
Yeah,
by Ona.
Cannons on Team Woodid on this one. Just going to be looking for Dragon over Grubs in this early game.
They're not risking anything, just going to come over and grab the Honey Fruit.
Grubs feeling incredibly powerful for both teams with the Gwen and the Azir here in terms of what they could do with some additional damage in the side. So T1 definitely going to be happy to take them. I think it is going to be a very high value triple Grub take, and if they can turn that to 4, gets even better. We'll see what soul we get, because that's going to be really kind of what this dragon means for us later on for Genji.
Yeah. Okay. That is a lot of damage onto Duro, who is just caught with his pants down a little bit in his own jungle. And T1 grabbed their second kill of the game.
Great plays around vision here. 2 of them now for Owner. Just knowing that there's a likely pathing that he's going to have to take to get back to the lane, and they just instantly punish him so quickly he can't react on this Rakan.
It feels good, doesn't it, that we just watched like the Owner Ultimate List episode in the break. I feel like it's sort of perfect timing as he is now running the Rift once again on his Xin Zhao.
And really, it's Owner coming here to follow up, but actually Karya was the one who really set this play up, wrapped all the way around, captive audience, keeps him there just a little bit longer. Had he potentially flashed instantly towards his AD carry, maybe he lives there, but doesn't know that it's going to be a 3-man party on top of him. Doesn't flash, but dies.
Oh, there's the charm actually connecting as the curtains have been called. Emperor's Divide gets rid of Carrier, but Faker turns up immediately. Orbit Deception comes down, and Chovy is still surviving. He gets the heal, in fact, from that Gleaming Quill, helping him out. Nice work, Duro, defending your mid laner.
Yeah, really well played there on the defense, but also a great opportunity found once again here by T1 in this incredibly proactive early game. Chovy does not have teleport. He's low on mana here, but we'll be able to catch this wave, no problem, luckily for him.
Yep.
Man, this has been a great early game for T1. Just the same. I mean, it could have been worse for Genji, obviously, if that protection didn't come through, but Guma just sailing through this early game.
I wonder whether he's going to do the same build as before with the Ghostblade into the rapid fire cannon. It's so much utility early.
I love it.
And then he transitions into Infinity Edge plus Lord Doms or some sort of armor pen after that. It's kind of cool.
You have other ways to break through that Skarner's health bar. So, you know, you're going to have your Leandries on the Ahri eventually. And the Gwen obviously can cut through pretty quickly in a team fight.
And you can just try not to hit him.
Yeah, I mean that's the real game plan. Obviously, in most scenarios with this type of composition, you want to be hitting the prio targets, the Azir and the Misfortune, and locking those down and blowing them up, and then killing the Skarner later. But if you have to, you know, the Jhin isn't going to be your best way of killing it with this build. But again, it's not the primary option he's looking for in most cases.
And Chovy now here is farming up quite nicely, as we can see. Going to be able to grab that cannon. There we go. As he really waits till the last second. Really, we're holding our breath. But of course, wasn't under any pressure at all. Gumayusi, pretty capable of tanking up a Make It Rain, so he's going to be totally okay.
Yeah, just dodging the knock-up there as well, casually.
Yeah.
No flash, no boots.
Yeah, it doesn't
Not necessary.
It looks like he's building steel caps this time around as Doran going aggressive onto Keen, but Keen does have a friend here, and Doran could now be in trouble. He's looking for some snips onto this Rumble as the Flame Spitter comes down, but now Ona turns up, and that's going to be a very comfy kill from him to answer. Faker getting in here, though, as the teleport from Chovy delivers him, and the Emperor's Divide comes down. That is going to be the Shifting Sands, the flashes, the Foxfire enough, and it might just be, no, Faker gets crammed into the wall, and Canyon shuts him down.
Oh, so close to making it work. I was really surprised to see Chovy on the late TP there. Extremely risky move, but he's just tanky enough. Faker does not quite have the damage to take him out. Oh man, on his 12th year to the day anniversary, I thought we were about to just have one of those hashtag things Faker does moments. Was not quite enough, was not meant to be. Those turrets hit a little bit harder than they did back in 2013, but watching this play, eventually, I think Doran goes in here knowing that his teammates have that TP. Like, he has a TP from Faker here, he knows Owner is rotating over. He does end up dying here, but with two players coming over, he feels pretty confident they're gonna be able to turn this into a W, but Skarner is tanky. Chovy is the target they then turn onto, but he has Emperor's Divide, pushes Owner away, barely flashes to survive enough, and Canyon's trying to block here for Faker, who doesn't have enough damage, then gets caught by the
Canyon.
Such a sick guard play from Canyon here, and it's Duro who gave him the bodyguard earlier, and now it's Canyon. Yeah, I watched Wheeler guard Chovy for a long time on Hanwha Life back in the day, but this is something else.
It certainly is. That was so beautifully played there by Canyon. Having a look now, some more attention being paid towards his bottom side as both supports have turned up, but it looks like Keen will be at least able to clear out this minion wave comfortably. And Ona looking for 6 grubs. He should actually be able to get them here. The Dragon going to be spawning in about 17 seconds time. Duro with some vision control towards this bottom side, but that is 6 grubs to nothing. And that is going to mean a lot of extra pushing power. Genji really going to have to pay attention to where these lanes are going to be sitting to make sure that they don't just lose a turret in the blink of an eye.
Chovy narrowly escapes twice, but doesn't die. Finds himself, you know, the only one with a real gold lead here for Genji. Gets Leandri's first. It is going to be a real force to be reckoned with this lethal tempo build, or rune choice, I should say.
Yep.
And we'll even do a ton of damage to this Dragon on the take here for Genji. Mountain second, looking for a 2 Drake lead, have positional advantage.
See Ruler walking over that switched off ward as Chovy going to get flashed on here by Carrier. The quickness comes down though from Duro, and the 2-man on the Impale is so good. Already Owner has gone down, but Faker diving into the backline looking for the angle. Ruler gets over the wall. Can he actually survive is a question as Goomer is chased after him, and now it's the cleanup for T1. Doran is going nuts. Slammed into the wall, and the Flame Spitter finishes him off, but now the man advantage should be there for T1. The Flame Spitter though, Keen, can you get it done? Faker and Gumayusi have the damage, and they'll be able to take him down. T1 win the skirmish.
T1 with a huge win here in this fight. The Dragon goes Genji's way, but they are able to further a massive gold lead now. I mean, it's not as huge as it could be. It's not as huge as some of the gold leads we've seen, but for this matchup, I'd say 2K is a lot. Chovy the first one to get engaged on, but again, he lives for so long, part due to his ultimate, part due to Canyon's ultimate as well. They end up taking out the enemy jungler, which allows him to secure the Dragon, but there is just so much damage done in this fight by Doran. His needleworks are huge. Look at that Q damage stacked up onto Chovy, and Faker is just following up. Keen overheats, so can't really offer much damage back at this moment, which is where the fight is really won. He tries his best to turn things around at the end of it, but Guma gets that final shot, and then Faker has enough damage to help clean him up as that reload comes through. A close fight to be sure, but a huge injection of gold to T1.
I swear, Gumayushi's Jin just does more stuff than other Jins.
He just is super good at it. He knows how to space. He knows how to maximize his damage. Very rarely gets caught.
It might just be the Ghost Blade. Maybe the Ghost Blade is the thing. That's the difference, all right, that I've seen this week. And
yeah, in terms of items, sure.
Yeah, there we go. So that must be it. As T1, they retain themselves a gold lead. It is not insurmountable, as we do like to say, just yet. But still, and you're going to have to rely on some scaling and some dragons.
It's Hex Tech Soul, so you know the question we had about what that 2 Drake lead could mean is definitely answered now. It means a lot, and with a comp that already scales incredibly well with this Azir, the question becomes, is this enough of a lead? I think if T1 can continue to snowball this, It's a bigger lead than I expected to see this early in the game, but it's exactly the one they're looking for, as Owner is here.
He has snuck in. Does get spotted here as Canyon was moving a little bit dangerously close to that brush. So it looks like both top laners are going to be safe for now. Gumyushi is rotating up, does have that curtain call available, so we'll see whether they do decide to go for something anyway. In the meantime, we do have Ruler also rotating towards that top side. Some mid laners clashing as Ghost is going to get popped here by Keen. Needlework being avoided by the Rumble pretty effectively, utilizing the shield as well.
Curtain call dropped as well for Guma. They really wanted to make something of that. Unfortunately for them, and will come up empty, utilizing some big tools there.
No, just testing the waters. A lot of testing the waters. 1,000 gold. Going to be the advantage. We don't have any shoes put together yet. No feats of strength done. But we are one objective away for both teams, as well as just the first brick. Where that's going to go is the big question mark, as right now Genji are playing defense everywhere except for mid lane.
Yeah.
That is where Ruler is going to be heading towards now.
So many close calls for Chovy this game. Has really been under so much pressure, but still scaling up. Doran, you know, in this last fight, did a ton of work. Is going to be a really big threat in the late game, especially in sides too. And even though I think Genji on paper have the better scaling, there are aspects of T1's comp that work really well in the late game too, and an even game state, especially the fact that Ahri has so much longevity with this new build too.
Yeah, and I'm also seeing a cow here. Carrier can always change the state of a game with a huge Hepa pulverized play, possibly looking for an angle here, as he does get some information.
Great sweep there.
Yeah, eventually does put the ward down. But was thinking about going ward Hepa pulv to see whether he could just catch two people off guard. It is possibly Canyon getting... No, he's not. He's got Heartsteel and just he's very tanky, so never mind.
He almost lost one of his bars.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. He almost lost an health, everyone. Not the priority target.
No, certainly not. There's a TP from Doran back to the top lane, as they're looking to group for this Herald fight. Faker has teleport as well, looking to interrupt Chovy, but actually unsuccessful there.
Yeah, Chovy just behind the Otacon little mini wall, and is going to be able to escape. Ruinous Otacon today, as sticking around and picking up all of those flowers is going to be pretty important.
Definitely. Also great to have a dragon lead when that is the Otacon of choice.
Oh yeah.
Especially if you're looking to turn that into a soul point here. Genji have, you know, we haven't had that fight over the Herald just yet, but you know, they have been able to slow it down enough to where both objectives are up at the same time here. And they have their kind of pick of the litter here as to where they want to go. They feel ready to take a fight. Chovy opted into the arm guard, so looking for a big fight here. Very expensive item to pick here, slowing down that 2-item spikes substantially, but can be a make or break item in this huge, really important fight here where Genji could secure a soul point.
Level 11s for both of these 80 carries as well, with Curtain Call and Bullet Time. Very important, as in goes Owner. Duro not going to be in too much danger because he does have all of that added mobility. Canyon has started up this dragon. Owner is in the area, and Chovy has rotated down. Control ward in place. Teleports at the ready as well. Keen doesn't have his, but he is already down here towards this bottom side. The rest of Genji need to wait for these solo lanes to collapse in.
Chovy going to clear this mid wave.
Oh, they were thinking of the turn. You can see Faker wrapping around. Emperor's Divide going to push the cow underneath the turret, but Chovy's in so much trouble. Curtains are being called. 1-2, and he's gone. Pick the juke there. Did Gumyushi, and down goes the Pigeon. And now T1, 5 versus 4, feeling fantastic going into this Drake fight.
Oh man, Chovy feels like in this game he had 9 lives. He kept getting out of every scenario, but not this one, not this time.
Oh, I don't know about fighting for this, but Owner is out of position. He'll be taken down first, but now is the fight going to be won. Ruler with the flash over the wall, the bullet time. Doran is going to try to interrupt it and just cuts him down where he stands. Keen trying to get in there, and the harpoons are doing some work as Canyon, so durable, gets another crash into the wall, but Duro is not offering any damage back. It is only Keen that's able to do any work, and he is just pushed away. Low health bars on T1, but they juggled the aggro beautifully.
That was such a greedy call to continue to stay there. Catching Owner, though, made the headed off with all.
Pesky minion getting in the way.
Don't you know it's his 12-year anniversary? Read the room, minion.
Yeah, the caster minion, how dare you.
Oh boy, but it all goes back to this Chovy pick. Look at Faker's flank. They're so ready for this, and even though he has the perfect, picture-perfect immediate reaction to go for the Emperor's Divide to push Keria in. There's just so much follow-up here with the Jhin ultimate. And then this pick onto Owner, before he can get the Crescent Guard out in an ideal scenario, actually just barely puts it off, but he still dies here. And then the follow-up fight is just so difficult to pull off here for Genji. Sure, you ended up taking the jungler away, but can you win a fight into Guma's fantastic positioning and also a Gwen offering so much damage? Gwen Jhin synergy seems really high in this game.
Well, Chovy's dead again. He's going to break his arm guard as Emperor's Divide does at least try to get them in position as his Sundisk does a bit of work, but Doran's going to be able to lock down the kill. There was just no way that he was getting out of that one. And we are still in a position where we don't have any of the feats of strength locked down just yet.
Although whoever wins this race,
whoever wins this race is going to be it, and it is going to be Genji that upgrade their shoes first. Very random selection of shoes as well, everyone with different ones.
Yeah, it's quite a nice variety.
In fact, it's going to be all different ones if it's going to be Berserker's Greaves here for Ruler.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
T1 just going to go for this Otacon. It's a very T1 move. They'll drop their mid turret for this. And, I mean, Chovy's still down for 3 seconds, no TP. I just don't think Genji could stop this. They're going to have to just try to get as much as they can in mid lane. They will get that additional turret here.
I mean, 2 turrets is pretty good, but if they manage to take down Keen at the same time, it could be dangerous as he gets under the turret and he's still dead. There was no way out of that one. Keria is just, he's able to pick a target and kill a target every time.
T1 very happy with what they get out of this. Remember, Faker already having the Rod of Ages level advantage, but gets to have that extra experience as well. And any X-Tech Dragon they pick up is going to be more valuable. This is a huge commitment. All 5 T1 players are looking for Chovy here, but meanwhile, Keen's on blue buff. You know, nobody's pushing topside, nobody's cross-mapping here. Chovy's just on his own, and I think he should not have been anywhere near that far up the lane with no support and with no cross-map potential. So that was quite bizarre, and then Keen gets taken out here as they secure the Otacon. So yes, 2 turrets for 1, as that one falls in the bottom lane, but the Otacon buff is going to be super permanent. Over double the Blood Petal stacks here.
I was actually expecting that to be worse for Genji, so I guess there's that one. They also are still like 1.3k gold. Like, it is nothing. And there are 2 dragons here for Genji. So with that to sort of lean back on, some possibilities. But if the, Keria, he is going to find Ruler once again. The rest of T1 looking to back him up. Duro playing some defense with the quickness as Owner just finds Canyon but gets impaled, pulled back in as the Equalizer says, nope, you shall not pass. The Emperor's Divide onto Doran, but he kind of likes that the gap got closed. Duro trying to get himself out of there. The bullet time will take down the Gwen, and Chovy goes golden just to buy some time. He does fall, but Keria now flashing the wrong direction and will go down for a triple kill for Ruler. The sidestep from Keen as well. Absolutely fantastic on that charm. As Keen still looking to go further forward. It's a 1 trade, but the curtains have now been called and Keen could be in trouble. Another charm going to need to connect, and there it is. Faker locks him down to even this one up.
Yeah, could have been Faker. Could have been that last shot there from Guma, but he was dying no matter what. Faker will secure that kill. 10 stacks of Dark Seal. Ahri, I think, needs to be taken a little bit of a closer look at here in LCK. This champ is broken, but Faker's playing it so incredibly well. This is an overextension here initially by T1, it looks like, with Canyon getting this fantastic impale. Equalizer here, though, not super impactful for Keen. He's not able to really threaten anybody with this. Does do a lot of work with his Flame Spitter, and then the Ruler ult comes through, and man, at this point, it's looking really, really good for the turn here for Genji, but it gets a little bit split up here as Keen chases very far forward, and then once this turn comes through,
yeah, I think that as soon as they couldn't get to Gumayushi, it's like he sets up the curtains, there's just nothing you can really do. Like, the defensive wall that the curtain call provides is just huge.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out the best way to say it, but it's really just kind of a slight misjudge on the potential kill threat there onto an extremely long-range AD carry who can slow and then set up Faker in that situation. It's a relatively even trade of kills, but T1 grab a turret after this. Doran is massive in this game, and he is already doing so much work in team fights, and he's just going to be a bigger and bigger problem. And I feel like T1 do have enough of an advantage that even though the scaling is coming through for Chovy here, they can continue to win team fights straight up, as we've seen.
Yeah, and Chovy hasn't had the greatest of games. I think he had a brilliant series against HLE. But this has been some of those issues that we saw in the LCK Cup, right? Like, being alone in side lanes and getting caught out of position and not having a setup for the cross-map play.
He's also just been so targeted too, you know?
True.
And when you're playing greedy and T1 is after you, you know, they're going to get you.
Yeah.
You know, you live twice pretty incredibly, but since then it's been, you know, he's 1-4. And he bought his Zonias, used it in that last fight, wasn't able to turn the fight with it, wasn't in a great spot, was kind of cut off from the rest of his teammates. And it also means he doesn't have Nashor's Tooth, which he will have.
Yeah, it's coming in pretty soon, but probably not as soon as he would like to have it. 30 seconds until the Dragon. That is going to be the next big point of contention. The gold lead is still a flat line, guys. It is nothing whatsoever. No one's really broken this game open. The Baron has just spawned.
Faker, he hits level 16.
Oh, big deal.
He has the Otacon for any Hex tech he picks up. He also has, of course, the Lucidity Boots, so his cooldowns are going to be low. He is very happy to battle and brawl in what have been very scrappy team fights, and he's had a phenomenal performance in them. And when you pair that with Guma, who has such a robust front line, so for him to actually, you know, basically do whatever he wants with a Gwyn running through Genji, T1 are set up in a fantastic position here, but the lead is not so big that one miss in the team fight, one overextension, one fail, doesn't put Genji right back in the driver's seat. So still a tense game here, but T1 will get this Dragon for free, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like Genji just a little bit late on this rotation. They are going to be able to get on over, but I think walked on a trap, spotted out the ward, and realized that there was no way that they could actually get through. So the Drake going to even things out here between T1 and Genji. And T1, this is like already brilliant equalization as far as these Drakes are concerned. If they get the next one, that is like Quadra Hextech Drake Hextech Soul, which I don't think we need to explain is absurdly powerful.
Plus Otacon.
Plus Otacon, yeah. So everything about it is just kind of nuts.
Yeah, it is really a problem. Gwen now has the Zonias completed, so, you know, Doran's in a position to where killing him is nigh impossible. Crescent Guard makes killing Owner pretty tough. Faker put together Majai's, so he's following in Showmaker's footsteps on this one. This build is super difficult to kill the Ahri with anyways. He still has his arm guard.
Oh, Duro might be in trouble here. Is Trophy going to move over? Battle Dance gets Duro out of there. And the curtains are under the ground, and that can be quite confusing.
If I know T1, they might just turn this into a Baron opportunity. They push away the support. They have full vision control of this pit. Faker's rotating up.
Ruler is on vision right now as well, as Kerry is going to move out of the way. I was a bit worried for the Misfortune there, who was somewhat by herself. Trophy, though, is going to be able to complete that Nash's Tooth now.
Yeah, and they don't opt to start the Baron. They had a decent amount of vision control, but without the Ahri fully being there, and it is a Jhin, of course, the speed at which they could take this Baron is not the greatest, even with the Gwen there on the top side. Well, they don't want to throw this game on a bit of a Baron attempt when they already have such a fantastic position. On the other side of things, though, if Genji ever get a moment, the Baron explodes. Oh, absolutely. I mean, with this build for the Azir, with the Rumble, and this Misfortune, as IE, and his 1,400 gold ahead of a perfect KDA 3010 Jhin here, things are quite scary. Indeed, and I also think their Siege is pretty incredible as well, should they get that Baron. Yeah, Genji now getting some vision control around the area. T1 were on a reset, so they will now go back and complete their homework as well. Man, I just want this gold lead to be, like, change, like, at least, like, a little bit. It hasn't changed a little bit. I think T1 fans should be the most concerned about the fact that it hasn't ballooned for them with the advantages they picked up. They still were able to get 2 dragons in a row, but haven't been able to turn this into a massive objective or any of these inner turrets worth of gold. So, like I said, all it takes is one win for Genji, and they're in the driver's seat, and then they've got the scaling to back it up. Yeah. They still do need to play out the fights correctly, though. There can certainly be some miracles here for T1. Doran can run amok in these fights. The Gwen scales so beautifully. Gumayushi, if he manages to get that captive audience, the deadly flourishes that can pick off these single targets, he's been doing it so well throughout this game. It may not even be a team fight, right? Like, someone might just die before anything really starts, and I think that that's what T1's going to be looking for in this game. Yeah. Baron's still definitely the focus. Absolutely. At least for the next 2 minutes. And that's why you see this constant battle, almost feels turn-based over the vision. Keria gonna come up here, try to get some deeper vision. We'll back away as the rest of Genji group up. Keen is backing, has teleport, and he has Hex Gates as well, so he can get to this Baron very quickly. Kind of non-committal to show up here just to contest. Keria really not taking too much damage. So he's Alistar, he's got his level 11 ultimate. He is happy to be the guy who walks out in front and gives the information. Faker's on a flank here. And a lost team fight for either of these teams might be the game. You can really feel the tension around this Baron. Faker with an angle, potentially.
Oh, Carrier's on a ward. He is a difficult target if they do want to take him down instead. Duro going to have to get out of there. And Carrier realizing that there might be some health, abilities on cooldown. That's what I was looking for.
You could see, I mean, just Faker and Carrier walking at 4 people is enough to get them to back away.
Oh, the cow's so scary. Gets the flash pulverized onto Chovy, who will be eradicated before the fight even starts. It's an impale, but it's only onto 1. The curtains were called. Canyon's going to get headbutted back and snipped down. Bullet time does next to nothing, and Genji with 2 on the floor, they'll lose the Baron.
They'll lose the Baron, and there's no way for them to try to turn this into a Drake take or anything like that either. This should be T1 getting Baron and their 3rd Hextech Dragon of the game off the Baron itself. The follow-up engage range for T1's composition is just so high when they have this Jhin. Genji were playing so respectfully. As soon as they see Carrier and Faker together, they backed away, but they didn't back far enough away, and Carrier finds the angle to get the flash onto Chovy. Owner is there for the follow-up, hits level 16 as well. He is so massive. There's the Baron.
Yeah, Carrier going to get slowed down by the red carpet as Duro is making his way over as well. I really like this. Was cheeky from T1, where they were all trying to get into position for this dragon so that they could get there before Canyon is able to do so. Genji understanding that, they get that wave pushed out. Keen already teleported towards that bottom side. As Owner is here, and starting this is real rough. There are Hex Gates as Battle Dance gets Duro to relative safety. As Doran getting in there. Don't know about that one. It's a little bit scary. This fight for the Dragon feels like the real battle. As Faker with the charm, it's going to go wide because he was on vision. And Canyon looks for the opportunity, not going to be able to get it. It's going to be a smite fight. We'll see who is going to get towards Soul Point off the back of this one.
Faker TPing back to his teammates here to get in a better spot.
Yeah, Canyon goes in, but he's unable to get the Dragon. Owner going to get quicknessed up, now gets out of there immediately as Chovy finds the upper side onto 3! It was him that got picked off, but this time he's able to make the big play. Doran cut down where he stands, and Chovy is dead again, but this time he takes 2 with him. Keen looking for the harpoons, doesn't get there, and Genji, I guess they still got some fight left in him.
A lot of this Baron timer as well worn away in this extended Dragon fight. We're going all the way back to this. Look at this ward here. Carrie has a good idea as to where Chovy is. Flash is in for it. Owner and Faker instantly on the follow-up, as is Guma. There is no turn. There's no damage here, as Ruler is just too far away to offer a real relevant bullet time to peel. Then this moment here, it's super close on the smite setup. Faker goes and rejoins his teammates, but it's Chovy who finds the angle here. Level 16, sees the angle, goes in, grabs Owner, and is able to get more than he bargained for. Grabs Faker on the edge of it as well, takes a ton of damage. And all Guma can really do here is peel and help take him out.
Charm was absolutely beautiful there from Faker just to make sure that Chovy did eventually die. I think if there were 4 left alive, maybe they lose more.
Yeah.
But still a huge win for T1. Yeah, like Genji, they win the team fight. But that's 3 Hextech Dragons.
Yeah, Faker, he is doing a lot of, he has no cooldowns basically. He has 20 stacks of Magi's, a death cap, and he still hasn't broken his arm guard.
Happy 12th anniversary, Faker. You're doing pretty well. As, okay, never mind. Crash into the wall onto Owner, and I don't think that Crescent Guard is going to be saving him. Chovy in a little bit of trouble here as Faker looks for the charm angle. He'll be able to get 2 off the back end, and Ruler is going to be his next target. He's dashing forever with all of these resets, and Gumyushi's flashing forward. T1 are going to take this game off the back of the GOAT. Happy 12th, my friend. I was a little early on it before, but my God, this Ahri performance is absurd.
The greatest of all time on his 12th anniversary. Faker is timeless, Atlas, and doesn't matter what year it is, he's still got the hands, he's still got the follow-up, and he and T1 are going to take this first game.
And I need to now remind everyone, as Keen goes down underneath these Nexus turrets, that this is game 1 of a regular season best of 3. So it feels like the stakes are way higher than they are because it's Genji versus T1. They often are quite that high, as there goes the Nexus, and T1 are going to take first blood in the series. What a